time, a school from the municipality reached the semi-finals of the National Science and Maths Quiz. She added that improved school infrastructure and a better learning environment continue to motivate both teachers and learners, contributing to the municipality's impressive academic progress.
At the primary school level, we get to teachers level. Learning and kind of together. And for the results, we are hoping that we have most of our learners entering the field and the Kinsley.
The coordinator of the Kinsley quiz, Dr. Michael Ampemdako, said the initiative, which promotes science, innovation and literacy, has now expanded to 13 communities. He noted that the program has equipped young learners with the knowledge and confidence needed to become future problem solvers and contribute to national development.
And this is the reason why we have very good initiative. We've been running this 7 years continuously together with the municipal and we believe that this is the only way that the society can be transformed, the people of the development can be transformed. So that's the kind of essence of this intervention. Stem from
The event ended with a presentation of awards to outstanding students, celebrating excellence and inspiring the next generation to aim even higher.
Let us now take a moment to remember the Asundwe-Hene Professor Evans Fifi Atta-Mills, the late president of Ghana. And today, President Mahama says his administration will continue to take decisions that prioritize the welfare of Ghanaians and protect the country's democratic progress and gains as part of efforts to honor the legacy of the late President John Evans Fifi Atta-Mills. President Mahama said his close working relationship with Professor Mills during his time as Vice President continues to shape his approach to leadership, particularly the values of integrity, unity, and service to lead the people. He made the remarks at a wreath-laying ceremony at Asundwe Park in Accra to mark the 14th anniversary of the passing of President Mills.
24th July 2012, former President John Evans Atta-Mills passed on to glory. Since then, the John Evans Atta-Mills Memorial Heritage holds memorial lectures and, of course, wreath-laying ceremonies in honor of the late president. At this year's event, General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Fifi Fiavekwete, paid glowing tribute to the late former president.
That's the reason why 3 different times he said no when he was approached to become a vice president. He didn't believe that that was his call. That level of humility. When 9 out of 10 people would go out of their way, even to orchestrate to become that seventh leader literally said no. That was not me.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin, who also spoke at the gathering, called on young politicians to eulogize the legacy of the late president.
President Mills was measured where others were combative. He was always guided by principle rather than convenience. He listened before he decided. He consulted before he acted, and he never let the trappings of power distance him from the people he served. President Mills governed with humility in an age that often rewards spectacle.
President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, during his speech, urged Ghanaians and, of course, politicians to emulate the peaceful nature of the late president.
In today's world where our public discourse is often dominated by anger, division, and impatience, the life of President Mills reminds us that history ultimately judges leaders not by the volume of their voices, but by the depth of their convictions, not by the bitterness of political contests, but by the lasting impact of their service.
The 13th edition of the wreath-laying ceremony of the late President, Professor John Evans Atta Mills, brought together a session of the public, including members of the National Democratic Congress, members of Parliament, traditional leaders, students, government appointees, families, and loved ones to commemorate the legacy of the late President. Reporting for GHOne News, Obed Kingaglo, Asumjay Park, Castle Road, Accra.
Meanwhile, sister of the late former president, that's Mercy Arabakwashi, has expressed concern over the growing impact of illegal mining, warning that the menace continues to destroy the country's environment and natural resources. Speaking at the wreath-laying ceremony, she called for stronger action to curb illegal mining and protect Ghana's future. She also appealed to the government to expedite the rehabilitation of the Atta Mills Memorial Library, describing it as an important national legacy that must be preserved.
For example, our galamsey, it has to stop completely. The loot for the state has to be recovered. And the Atta Mills Memorial Library in Cape Coast has to function. And Commander Sugar Factory, another dear one, it has to be operated. We thank you for all that you have done, and we want to assure you, as the family of our late Professor John Evans Atta Mills, we solidly and firmly stand with you in all this.
This is still news tonight on GHOne TV. After the break, we delve into the mid-year review, budget statement, and more. Stay with us. Grateful for your company on the broadcast. My name is still Emmanuel. Agyabeng hasn't changed. But what is changing is the government is saying it's abolishing 20% excise duty on locally manufactured fruit juices as part of measures to support local industries and promote value addition in Ghana's agricultural sector. The measure, according to Finance Minister Dr. Kasil Atoforsen, is intended to help reduce production costs, improve the competitiveness of locally produced fruit juices, encourage investment in agro-processing, and create more jobs across the value chain.
Mr. Speaker, we will review the existing sliding scale excise rates for beer and stout product to better align them with government revenue objectives while preserving the incentive for local production. Right Honourable Speaker, strengthening compliance through mandatory electronic registration of stockists, a nationwide track and trace system, penalties of up to 3 times the excise duty for tampering, and enforcing the law on requiring bank guarantees, and abolishing, Mr. Speaker, the payment of 20% excise duty on locally manufactured fruit juice. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish the 20% excise duty on locally manufactured fruit juices introduced in 2023. Right Honourable Speaker, this is to support agro-processing and job creation.
That is some good news coming in from the Finance Minister, but after that particular presentation on the floor of the House, the minority took to the media to address a number of concerns. One has to do with road contracts because they say they are packing out, that is the contractors. According to them, government has failed to pay contractors, and after that particular media budget presentation by the Minister, that is Dr. Kasil Atoforsen, former Finance Minister Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam said out of 70 billion Ghana cedis worth of contracts signed, only 10 billion cedis have been paid so far.
Tell you that big push is not big pushing. It needs a push. It needs a push. Because most of the contractors have already packed out of their sites due to non-payment. The minister brought himself up when he said that they have paid 6.5 billion Ghana cedis to big push contractors. You have signed contracts amounting to 70 billion Ghana cedis, and you have paid 6.5 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Minister, what are you telling the Ghanaian people? What are you telling them? And this is just half year. And then you come and boast that big push, 6.5 billion, and his colleagues will say, we have paid. 70 billion Ghana cedis. You have paid 6.5 billion, and you are boasting of that, as a result of which contractors have packed out of their.
Emmanuel Cherry is the CEO for the Chamber of Construction Industry. He joins me for a conversation. Mr. Cherry, good evening. Can you hear me, Mr. Cherry? You're trying to reach out to put some verification to the comment that the minority made yesterday. Mr. Cherry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Grateful. Now, so what we do know is that from the minority, you are packing out of the sites because government is not paying you. We want to put that particular claim to test. Is that true?
Sincerely, first of all, let me salute you and then greet your cherished viewers and listeners across the entire world. With the information that the respected former Minister for Finance, Dr. Amin, put out there on big push is factually inaccurate, on a sense that as we speak today, rather there is money briefing in the big push account waiting for certificate from the contractors to be added. So that's the reasons why the minister himself is now moving around to whip the interest of contractors to double up their effort. So if an honorable member of Parliament, especially immediate past Minister for Finance, should be making these claims, I believe that is below the belt. In fact, it should come again because with the assertion that 6.5 billion has been paid, yes, that is the certificate that has been raised, which has been honored by the government of the day. the 70 billion in question is talking about is a portfolio of awards. Awards, you and I know contracts. In contracts, you already call it, there are terms which are stated in the contract document. So per every state that you, the contractor, reach, you raise certificate covering that based upon what is enshrined or dictate of the contract. So if it's 20%, you get your 20%, you raise your certificate, you bring it, you are paid, you move and continue. As we speak now, there is not a single big push contractor which has packed out of sight, because that particular job is very lucrative and attractive to an extent that contractors are struggling, struggling to get that job you are not getting. So you a contractor who will get access to this particular job and you say you are packing up your site, then which means your family people are not, they don't like you. Sincerely, it's factually inaccurate. The minister should come again.
Thank you so much for putting that particular claim to the veracity test for us. But for you, the presentation yesterday, and as you mentioned, am I to believe that indeed all is well with road contractors across the country? Because previously the narrative has been your arrears are not being cleared, but now you're saying there's money around. So does it mean all is well for contractors following the media presentation?
This is what I was expecting the respected former Minister for Finance would have at least alluded to, that during your watch as a minister, you were unable to pay your obligations to contractors, and contractors pack out of sight during your watch. And the debt portfolio is over 40 billion plus as we speak now. So if there should be anything, you must be magnanimous enough to come clean and appealing to the government of the day that yes, we messed up, and therefore please pardon us, and then look onto our way and pay the debt that we have piled out for you. So these are the things that we need to. But if immediately you go this target, you are provoking the government of the day, and then if care is not taken, the government will sideline all those inherited portfolio and concentrate on the new things that he believed he also needed to do to justify himself, which is not the way. So the opposition must be very careful. They shouldn't come and muddy the waters for us. They have caused so much harm to us that we are still struggling to come out of our woes. So therefore, if they have anything to say, they should come and apologize to us, we the construction industry players, as well as the government of the day, and seeking for, a way to clear those particular outstanding that they have accrued in their tenure as government then. So therefore, where we are today, contractors who are securing new jobs, the new jobs all have fundings available. So there is a proper financial engineering put in place as we speak today. So any contractor who has been awarded a new contract, the first thing that you do, if you go to site, raise certificate, some of them are getting mobilization, which is a thing that has happened in the past. But today, that thing has been cancelled, but today as we speak now, the government of the day has put in place mobilization, equipped to to empower the contractors, because they realize that most of the contractors who have been given these jobs, they are heavily owed by government. And therefore, if they should ask them to go to site and start work without mobilization, it will be difficult for this government. So what they need to do, they need to put measures in place. So there is enough fund for all the new jobs. The problem you are having today is the inherited liability, which has been caused by the previous administration. So that is where we are expecting the minority to come in to support us, to plead with government, to at least, look our way and to at least make some funds available. Even though, as we speak, government of the day has started payment of those particular arrears, but it's not as enough as we expected. But the more you provoke them, the more you are drawing them far away from us for them to concentrate on their own portfolio, which will not augur well to the industry.
Emmanuel, a very passionate plea that you made over there. We are grateful for your time. He is the Chief Executive Officer for the Chamber of Construction Industry. Well, we have been joined in studio by the Member of Parliament for Sisala East, Mohammed Issa Battaglia. Honorable, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
We are grateful as well that you could join us. I'm sure you were following keenly the conversation I had with Emmanuel Cherry.
Absolutely.
A very displeased man. He says the minority should not muddy the waters for him. And for you, when the minority made those comments after the presentation yesterday, how did you receive it?
Well, my brother, let me say a very good evening to you and your wonderful and cherished viewers. Let me also use your platform to say a very good evening to the people of Sosala East. Clearly, you can see Emmanuel Cherry is an industry player, not a politician. And you can clearly read from his body language, the sentiments he's expressing. To me, I am shocked that the former minister, at the tail end of what President Nado's administration, is the one making these claims. The big push has become the driving force in the life wire in terms of road network or construction in this country. And clearly, the minister has indicated and portrayed clearly to every Ghanaian that he is not an armchair minister. He wouldn't sit in Accra and assume something is happening in Tumu. He has been through, this is just about 2 years, but he has been to Tumu two occasions. I've followed up there. I've sat in meetings, monitoring meetings. On the 16th of this month, there was a monitoring meeting. I was in Tumu. On the 30th of this month, there will be another monitoring for Mahums, who is a contractor there, and Marapoma. What we had on the 16th was for Ashkal. All these contractors are living, they are doing their best. And they are happy. I think that they make sure that if you are able to raise your certificates based on the assessment done, you will be paid. And that's why Emmanuel Cherry just indicated that the money is sitting down there. And I am surprised which angle of Ghana he's talking from, that or where he has seen contractors parking and leaving. We all saw on televisions reports that came that minister was not even satisfied with people and abrogating contracts, revoking the contracts, indicating that others have picked what? Mobilization, yet they've not been on site. To the extent that he had to pick it on with the regional ministers and municipal chief executives, indicating that they are close to the people. Why do they have to wait for him to come all the way from Accra to see that proper work is not being done? So clearly, I am surprised. To be honest, it came to me as a shock that we will have Honorable Alhaji Amin and being the one leading this kind of conversation. It doesn't merit him, and I think that he should help from that kind of comments. Maybe there were days by what happened in Parliament yesterday, and if they are looking for other ways to be able to be relevant in their conversations, I think that they should look better, not to target the big push. Big push is a life wire, has transformed already without even finished. The work is transformed a lot in Sosala East. And I think Minister yesterday, even in paragraph 564 indicated the project works, the levels at which they've gotten to. Others above 75, others 23, others 50. He didn't hide it. It was a categorical and clear reportage that was given yesterday. So I'm surprised where they are getting their figures from. But once you are there and you have them to say, this is how you come to Ghanaians, and Ghanaians will see you and value with what you say. And
for you as a majority, yesterday the minister made a number of pointers, and what he says, your government has overcome the original sin, and Ghana is now firmly placed on the path to sustainable growth. Exactly. For you, what key items in the presentation affirms that particular claim that the minister made? Very
clearly, minister said a lot. I don't even want to go into those figures of where this country was. And you and me know, by close to 2024 December, we knew that this country was, in terms of economic performance, we rated with junk. It's a junk economy. Now we are talking about B with positive outlook. We knew that this government administration took inflation from 23.8% as at the end of December 2024. Today, as we are talking, is 5.3. Is that not it? But it came down to a 3.2. That's in December 2025. Is that not it? Yes, exactly. Basically. But the good thing that we want to talk about, I'm not talking about the exchange rate differentials, we're not talking about the CD's performance, to the extent that by close of 2024, CD was depreciating at the rate of 19%. By the end of 2025, CD was appreciating against dollar 45%. You can see what it means. That's a transformation. But the good thing is that that's us talking. That's data talking. But the individual habitat or the neutral habitat is what? Poverty dimensional, dimensional poverty report. Yeah. That shows that by close of 2024, 850 people were pushed down the poverty line. Is that not it? Yeah. That is pegging it at what? The rate of what? 24.9%. Today, as we are talking, by close to 2025, 950 people were pushed up. It means that the 800 people that were put through bad governance and recklessness were brought up to the level that they deserve, and 100 more people were 100,000 more people were added. We reduced that figure from 24.9 to 21.3%. 9, 3 percentage point decline. That is a reflection of what the people feel. This is not about paperwork. This is about how do they feel. What is the experience? Has it gotten any impact? And we've seen that impact clearly. And I think that that's what yesterday he showed.
Now, this impact you speak of, I have seen analysts, and the finance minister has been receiving praise from all angles.
Sure.
But one critical thing that people raise concern about that, yes, we are enjoying the successes, but there are risks, especially on the side of trade, because the economy now is buoyed by gold.
Yes.
And there seems to be not so much diversification when it comes to trade to ensure that should there be a dip in prices, should there be a market crash, then what happens to the economy? Those concerns are there.
Yes, I will address that concern by saying that, yes, nothing is static. And even the minister indicated that he wouldn't draw a one-year budget without anticipating contingency or unforeseen circumstances. Those things can happen. We've seen, one time we slept and woke up and saw that Israel, Iran, and America got involved in a conflict. Is that not it? But the truth of the matter, let's make this point clear. In 2024, we had a system that ran towards gold. Gold is our natural resource God has bestowed on us that we are supposed to benefit as Ghanaians. 2024, we were told, let me just pick it right, Dubai, about over 4 billion worth of gold was sent out, exported. Deregulated system. Individuals can do their marketing. What came back to support this country was about 8.2 billion. Over 1.8 or 1.7 billion dollars. Nobody knows where it went. Today, we came and felt that no, resource-rich countries must benefit the people. Let's make sure we regulate it. Let's bring the monopoly. Let's make sure that whatever that goes out, at least 80 to 90 or 98% of it come back. We've brought that this is the gold board is in. We've been able to take gold out. Majority has come. It's pumped in the economy to bring stability where businesses can predict and plan their businesses. Today, everybody knows that the worst form that we might experience dollar in terms of rate will be 12 cedi per dollar. It went as low as what, 9, went to 10. Is that not it? Now it's about 11.6. So it means that the bracket is that you can always plan, be it the West. That's one thing. Today, the business economy, the business community will tell you that in 2024, they were borrowing from the commercial market to do trade. Comparing themselves to the other global jurisdictions, you could see that they were getting 30.2% in terms of rate. Today, the average rate is about 15%. Sometimes it comes down to 12%, depending on the interbank, or what we say, the Bank of Ghana, the policy rate. That's what it is. So the business person today is much more relieved. But knowing that, we also are not running out from the fact that, yes, in terms of gold, in terms of oil, we have the bearish systems, we have the bullish. The bullish is when you are getting the best of it. The bearish is when the prices come down. But what can we do to transform our economy from import dependency to export dependency? Will those monies be able to come and boost the economy so that we'll do more of production in our country? And I think we've seen that. To the extent that the president made an announcement that let's focus to see how we can, at least when we build our capacity, we can process over 400 tons of cocoa. We can make sure that we add value to the gold that we are getting. Today, TOR, which is a national installation, has gotten over 1 million barrels of oil from the Ghanaian crude. All those things are to boost up the economy, and I'm sure it is to reduce the shocks of the unforeseen circumstances.
So you believe that the future is exciting?
That is why the minister is confident by saying that this is the 17th time we've come out of IMF. He believes that with prudence and discipline, we will not get back there. He's saying with confidence. He's not saying with arms begging. No. He believes that when we as people agree that, yes, let's discipline ourselves. Let's make sure that at a point that what we raise, we don't overspend that. And clearly we saw that. To the extent that your primary balance, those days, we're running into deficit of what, 2.9. Yeah. Today, it's a surplus of 2.5. It shows how disciplined we are. It's just how restrained we can be. It shows that when we mean to do it with the right people, results will be achieved. And I don't have any doubt
that would be the case.
That would be the case, and that's actually been the case. Ghana today is on the right trajectory, is moving towards prosperity. You made a point. I remember very well, Ken Oforiatta, the then finance minister, came and said that we've turned the corner because he believed that from 2022 to 2023, we've come out of the hardship. I told somebody that corner that he's seen is a bent in the very long curve. He has not even started turning it. Today, the actual turning of a corner is what we are all experiencing as a people in this country. And clearly, the results are abound. The young man, Atufosen, is the right person to be kept there to transform our economy. And I give every thanks to the president for making the right decisions and making sure this Ghana's economy moves to the right direction.
Mohammed Issa Baktaglia, we are grateful that you joined us in studio. He is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Sisala East constituency, and we have been discussing largely the budget. He believes that Atuforsen is the right choice. He believes that the NDC government has successfully and will successfully ensure that Ghana does not return to the IMF. Away from that, Vice President Professor Jane Nano Agyabeng has reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to strengthening local governance through decentralization, stressing that metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies remain central to achieving inclusive national development. She said the government's research agenda recognizes the important role of local authorities in driving development at the community level and ensuring that citizens benefit directly from national policies and programs.
Ghana has placed strong emphasis on strengthening local government. We recognize that sustainable partnerships require municipalities to have authority and capacity. That is why we have taken decentralization so seriously. More than 3 decades ago, Ghana adopted decentralization as a deliberate strategy to bring governance and government closer to the people. We believe that governance should not be concentrated in the national or regional capitals alone. It must reach our communities, towns, districts, and cities where citizens experience government most directly. The research agenda of His Excellency President John Mahama continues to place decentralization at the heart, at the center of national development.
The Flood Mitigation Task Force has begun a phased dredging, desilting and demolition exercise across various locations in Accra as part of efforts to address the recurrent floods. Led by the Deputy Chief of Staff Operations at the Jubilee House, Stanhuese Dogbe, the Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources, Honorable Kenneth Ajay, and in the company of the Coordinator of the Works, Brigadier General Foster Okan-Yeboah, the team removed properties along waterways, poorly engineered bridges, among others. There is more in the following report.
The operation covered New England, Chester Dam in East Legon and Oyarifa. At the Chester Dam along Boundary Road in East Legon, the task force pulled down unauthorized structures built within the waterway reserve after encroachment narrowed the natural drainage channel. Coordinator for the government's Flood Mitigation Task Force, Brigadier General Foster Okan-Yeboah, said illegal development had significantly obstructed the natural flow of water.
The problem is that because people have filled this place, the channel is narrowed, so the water is not able to get enough space to maneuver to. Well, there's a holding area downstream where water is supposed to be collected, but because they filled that whole place, the place is not able to take up water. So once the place is blocked, the water pushes upwards and the place gets flooded.
He added that the operation will not end with demolitions, stressing that measures would be put in place to prevent future encroachment on waterways.
We are demolishing structures in this dam area to open up the place for some dredging works to be carried out. We are going to collect the debris, we are going to dredge and make sure that we create a buffer where people can no longer go. But we are going to ask the assemblies to be watching out so that when anyone tries to encroach upon it, action is taken immediately.
Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources, Kenneth Gilbert Ajay, said President John Dramani Mahama has directed that the silting of drains across the country becomes a continuous exercise rather than a seasonal intervention.
His Excellency has directed that this should be an ongoing thing. So you are not just seeing us here today and that will be it. After the demolitions, what will be left is we continue dredging all the time so that anytime there is rains, water will get a place to settle. It's an all-year thing. That is what His Excellency the President has directed. That we should ensure that what we experienced, we wouldn't experience such magnitude of floods in the coming years.
The Flood Mitigation Task Force says the nationwide operation is aimed at restoring waterways, improving stormwater drainage, and preventing a repeat of the recent flooding experienced across parts of Greater Accra. The next phase of the exercise will focus on Weja, Malam, and the Laboma area.
Fear has gripped students and teachers of Spiritan Senior High Technical School in the Twima and Wabieja North District of the Ashanti region over security concerns on campus. The school currently has no security personnel and perimeter fence, leaving students and staff worried about possible intrusions. They say the situation has made the campus vulnerable, with unauthorized persons allegedly able to enter and leave the school premises freely. The head teacher, Emmanuel, is appealing to authorities to urgently provide security officers and construct a perimeter fence to safeguard lives and property. Emmanuel joins me. She is the head teacher of Spiritan Senior High Technical School. A rather unfortunate situation there you're facing in the school. But help us understand what really is the situation.
So, good evening to you and your listeners. The school, as you rightly said, is located in Adam Kwame, Spiritan Senior High Technical School, a school established by the Catholic Church and the Spiritan congregation, for that matter, to raise students, to equip them with skills and knowledge. It was privately owned by the church until 2019, when it was handed over to the government. And from that time till date, with the exception of vehicles that have been given to the school, nothing has come forth as far as an infrastructure development and the students' life are concerned. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And we are calling for the ministry to have a look at our school.
Now, you mentioned that since government support largely has been quite low, but then for what is happening currently in the school, has there been any reportage to any government official around? Has there been any look at it by the MCE, even the Ghana Education Service?
Absolutely. I have written letters. I have gone to see the DC. I have spoken to the MP. I have written letters to Get Fund, to my regional directorates. I have done quite extensive writing, followed up, going to Accra to see one person or two, and we are still hoping against hope that something will come out of it.
We're certainly looking forward to when government action to help deal with the matter comes up. But in the interim, how are students and teachers even faring in this situation? And what really can, there's an appeal to corporate bodies, what can be done in the immediacy to prevent any serious action from unauthorized persons and, armed persons, perhaps?
I think as every other Ghanaian, we are managing. Students and teachers are coping seriously, especially when it rains. And you can see from the footage you have, it is that bad. If you are not careful, by the time you get to school, you are all dirty. You have a car, you have to sometimes park by the roadside and walk. You trek, making sure you walk through the reeds because you can't really access the road. So it is that bad. You see the cattle grazing on the school fields, and they come there during school hours. An animal that can kill its own owner is left just grazing. I've complained, the chief is aware, the assemblyman, the DCE, the MP, everybody who ought to know knows, but we are just looking on. I don't know whether we are waiting for somebody to be killed before the typical Ghanaian attitude. We do something about it. So it's that serious.
We will take this passionate appeal that you've made and look forward to when government's action comes up to solve the situation. It's quite unfortunate what is happening at Spiritan SHS. We just engaged the head teacher there, and the appeal is to everyone whoever such can support, even as government makes the necessary provisions to support senior high school education across the country. Violence disrupted the National Democratic Congress branch executive elections in the Asin Central constituency of the Central Region after a deputy constituency youth organizer aspirant, Yao Owusu, was allegedly attacked by unidentified men at a polling center. The victim sustained serious injuries and is receiving treatment as the police investigates the incident.
Yao Owusu says the attack occurred after he raised concerns over what he described as irregularities during the election of the branch women organizer. He said election officials initially indicated that 17 delegates were eligible to vote at the polling station. However, after the close of voting, 25 ballot papers were allegedly found in the ballot box, raising concerns of possible overvoting. Yao Owusu says he and some supporters demanded clarification from the officials and called for discrepancy to be addressed before the process continued. He alleged that shortly after raising the concerns, a group of men believed to be linked to an opposing faction attacked him with sticks and other objects. He says the assaults left him with multiple injuries, including a fractured neck, eye injury, head injuries, and suspected spinal complications, necessitating his transfer to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for further treatment and specialist care.
No mama mebe na nyame nko na MC ne ma no mo de edi me bone o mo di ne hansam mo kan zo papa ya MC ti so mo bu kra na enko nkosi hwe ampani ampa mo de edi o mo nyina esi ya no mo papa no adu ho no to ne ya GHOne enye baako ene enye mi.
Yao Owusu has appealed to the NDC leadership to ensure a thorough investigation and bring those responsible to justice. Meanwhile, the alleged assault has been reported to the Central North Regional Police Command, which has commenced investigations into the incident.
We've got a business brief coming up next.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
For years, residents in several mining communities within the Takwa Nsuayim municipality have grappled with poor road networks, making it difficult to access schools, health facilities, and markets while slowing economic activity. Although calls for government intervention persist, some communities are now witnessing improvements through private sector support. The Goldfields Ghana Foundation is constructing 2 major road projects to enhance connectivity and improve livelihoods in host communities.
Goldfields Ghana Foundation advances work on 2 major road projects in the Takwa Nsuayim municipality aimed at improving connectivity and supporting economic activity across the foundation's host communities. The Board of Trustees inspected the projects and engaged residents on the progress of the works. The flagship 14.2-kilometer Samehu-Pepesan Road, linking Samehu, Abekwase, Tebe, and Hunisu-Pepesa, is nearly 36% complete and is expected to be finished by October 2027. The second project, the 2.3-kilometer Budu City Bogosu Junction Road, is more than 76% complete and is scheduled for completion in June 2027. The Municipal Chief Executive for Prestia Huni Valley, Ebenezer Kobina, says the roads will make it easier for farmers to transport produce to markets while easing the financial burden on the municipal assembly.
Construction of this road is a big relief, big relief to myself as the Municipal Chief Executive and Administrative Assembly. It had to, like this duty will just fall on the shores of the Assembly, but the foundation coming to our aid just to do construction, this construction is a big relief. So we'll give a great thanks to the foundation and the good force management.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Agyabeng, welcomed the road projects but stressed that more funding is needed to drive development in mining communities. He called on government to increase the share of mining royalties allocated to host communities to 30%.
What we are asking for is that if we look at the percentage of royalties that currently are returned to our traditional authorities and our local authorities, it's about 8%, and that's not adequate. And so what we are asking is to increase the quantum at least to 30% coming into these host communities. And when you bring them into the host communities, put them into strategic investments.
Vice President of External Affairs at Goldfields Ghana, Michael Edem Akafia, said the road projects demonstrate the foundation's commitment to improving livelihoods in its host communities. He expressed confidence that more development initiatives will be rolled out to support long-term socio-economic growth.
National Society of Black Engineers Ghana is urging engineers to leverage artificial intelligence to solve Ghana's engineering and infrastructure challenges. Speaking at the launch of the Engineering in Africa conference in Accra, Executive Director of the National Society of Black Engineers Ghana, Emmanuel Abdullahi, called for AI to be integrated into tertiary education to prepare the next generation of engineers for the future.
At the launch of the Engineering in Africa conference, Executive Director of the National Society of Black Engineers Ghana, Emmanuel Abdullahi, challenged engineers to leverage AI to develop innovative solutions to the country's pressing engineering problems. He says artificial intelligence can help improve planning and decision-making, particularly in predicting floods before they occur.
The recent flooding is just something that was so disappointing. Having produced all this engineering, so it's about time that we come up, use innovative ideas like AI to be able to even predict what is coming next, what havoc is going to cause in our communities, in our society, and we can do it. We have the best brains in the country. They are working elsewhere in NASA and other Apple and other Ghanaians working. We can assemble them here to solve the pressing problems that our communities have, so that we can have a better future for our youth, for our country, and then for our future generations to come.
Mr. Abdullahi further advocated the integration of artificial intelligence into the curricula of tertiary institutions, saying future engineers must be equipped with digital skills to remain competitive and drive innovation.
We need to seize this opportunity and champion the youth to study AI, use it for the good of Africa, for our country, and then be able to solve problems that ordinarily or manually would have been difficult. So AI has come to revolutionize our country and to help us innovate and live a better future.
As artificial intelligence continues to reshape engineering around the world, stakeholders believe equipping students and professionals with AI skills will be key to building resilient infrastructure and accelerating Ghana's development.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Well, the EIB Network has partnered with Miss Ghana UK in a strategic media collaboration aimed at promoting Ghana's culture, tourism, hospitality and heritage locally and internationally. The partnership seeks to expand the impact of the pageant while strengthening cultural connections between Ghana and the United Kingdom. My colleague Sani Tahir has more on this report.
EIB Network and Miss Ghana UK have signed a strategic media partnership agreement in Accra. The agreement designates EIB Network as the official media partner of the internationally recognized pageant, providing a platform to showcase Ghana's rich culture, tourism, cuisine, and investment opportunities to global audiences. Chief Executive Officer of EIB Network, Nathan Kwabnano Chedisi, known widely as Bolare, says the partnership is aimed at telling Ghana's story to the world by leveraging the network's platform to promote the country's culture while giving Miss Ghana UK greater visibility.
Our partnership with you certainly is going to amplify what you've done in the past, what you stand for, giving a voice and also a platform to many ambitious, brilliant ladies to come out there. So we are availing all our platforms to actually promote what you stand for, especially also Ghana out there. Platforms like yours, we'll also get to let people know, one, about the warmth and hospitality of Ghanaians. Let's use our platforms, using our ladies to also tell the Ghanaian story, how rich we are.
Chief Executive Officer of Miss Ghana UK, Mavis Osei, says the pageant has spent more than 30 years empowering young Ghanaian women, celebrating Ghanaian culture and strengthening ties between the diaspora and their homeland.
Miss Ghana UK, as you're aware, we've been operating for over 30 years. We've had past relationship with EIB, where we bring the winners and have had interviews. But we felt it was very vital that this year, moving forward, that we have a solid media partner and make it official, because we haven't previously done that. We've been promoting Ghana for the last 30 plus years. Personally, I've been doing that for 25 years within Miss Ghana UK. Thank you. We're looking forward to a very good partnership, and I do believe that it will put the Miss Ghana on a totally different platform.
First runner-up of Miss Ghana UK, Ifea Shimona, says the partnership with EIB Network will inspire more young people to celebrate Ghanaian culture, embrace their identity, and contribute to the nation's development.
I think it would be great to join the two diasporas together with Ghana and the UK as a representative Miss Ghana UK first runner-up. I think it's really important for the culture to be spread in both ways, and I feel like the diaspora would be a good opportunity for them to give back and to explore the culture of Ghana more, as well as everything that we have to offer.
Organizers say the collaboration will also showcase Ghana's national treasures, including cocoa and gold, to a wider global audience.
Well, it's time for sports. My name is Felix Dazi. The maiden edition of the GHOne Tennis Open Tournament has officially been launched, with GHOne His Royal Majesty King Taki Teko Churu II declaring the competition open. The GHOne also showcased his tennis skills during the ceremony, thrilling guests and participants. The first edition of the GHOne Tennis Open Tournament has been officially launched. The launch ceremony was presided over by the GHOne His Royal Majesty King Taki Teko Churu II, who formally declared the tournament open before delighting guests with a demonstration of the tennis skills.
And now the king will try a swing with the right arm. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The launch, which happened in the GHOne Palace in North Kaneshie, was to highlight the role of tennis in shaping the character of young people and attract greater interest in sports tourism. The ceremony involved stakeholders, Queen Mothers, President of the Tennis Foundation Isaac Abuajidia, and also senior high schools in Greater Accra, the capital of Ghana. Chief Executive Officer of Garnet, Ms. Gina Nete, says the GHOne Tennis Open was created to enhance opportunities for young people while contributing to the growth of tennis in Ghana.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing committee
and Jeanette Services Limited. It is my singular honor to welcome each one of you to the official launch of the GHOne Tennis Open. Today marks the beginning of something far greater than a tennis tournament. Today we launch a movement that believes sports can change lives, build character, unite communities, and create opportunities for generations yet unborn. Our sincere appreciation first goes to His Royal Majesty, King Takite Kochu, the GHOne. The GHOne Tennis Open seeks to identify talent, provide coaching and membership, build discipline and confidence, create scholarship opportunities and open pathways that will enable young ones and young people to compete nationally and internationally.
President. All right, and that's it for sports. I hand over to Emmanuel Agyabeng.
Felix, thank you so much for bringing us the latest in our world of sports. And with that, we wrap up the bulletin this evening here on News Tonight. We say thank you for staying with us. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Have an exciting weekend ahead. Bye-bye.